From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is your weekly sports update on WSU's Cougar Corner.
Welcome to WSU's Cougar Corner on Murrow News 8. I'm Ian Smay.
And I'm Alex Scully. Thanks for joining us. WSU baseball took on Arizona State last night and won for the books. We go to the bottom of the 10th inning. It was back and forth game for the Cougs. In the bottom of the 10th, tied 7-7 until Justin Hare unloaded the game ender. Ryan Walker pitched 4 innings of scoreless ball, striking out 5. Last Saturday, WSU women's golf
felt
finished
good.
strong.
Like I was telling them, I just was really dialed in. Felt like I could hit all my spots today. My stuff was moving good, and just trusted everything.
Last Saturday, WSU women's golf finished strong, placing 10th at the Ping Invitational in Tempe, Arizona. The Cougs improved each round, but faced stiff competition against 7 ranked opponents. Senior Olivia Brown finished Friday with 4 birdies in the first round, shooting 2 under to end the day, tied for 6th place, before finishing the tournament ranked 10th.
3 of WSU Olympic sport teams competed this weekend. Cougar women's tennis, ranked 31st in the nation, takes on Colorado Sunday, looking to continue their hot start to the season. Track and field heads to California for 3 separate meets. Throwers and distance runners head to the Stanford Invitational, where NCAA best marks are regularly set, while distance runners also compete at the San Francisco Distance Carnival. Sprinters will compete at the UCLA's Jim Bush Legends Invitational, while Cougar women's rowing hits the water this weekend in Montlake for the Husky Open. The WSU football team adds another member with preferred walk-on punter Oscar Dragusevic. The Texas native started his college career at the University of the Incarnate Word and previously committed to the University of Texas El Paso before accepting the walk-on position here at WSU. Dragusevic punted 74 times this past season, averaging 42.4 yards per boot.
WSU basketball player Jamar Urgis announced his departure from the Wazoo basketball team Wednesday night, making him the 3rd player to leave the program this week. The redshirt freshman from Toronto saw limited playing time under coach Ernie Kent this season, getting on the floor in 10 games and playing a total of 16 minutes. While the Cougars may have lost a few players this week, they also added some new talent. WSU received a verbal commitment from Ali Azukuns, a 6'8" wing from Slovenia. This would be the first foreign player to sign with the Cougars under Ernie Kent as head coach. Kunze recently played for the Impact Basketball Academy in Las Vegas.
March Madness reaches its climax this weekend with a Final Four in San Antonio. Michigan will face off against Cinderella story Loyola Chicago in the first matchup on Saturday. The 3-seeded Wolverines hope to win their first national title since 1989, while Loyola Chicago strives for their first since 1963. The second matchup pits Kansas against Villanova, both number 1 seeds. Kansas outlasted Duke in a memorable Elite Eight clash, helping them reach the Final Four for the first time in 10 years. With a win, Villanova would go to the championship for the second time in 3 years.
Spring must be here by now because baseball season just started, for real.
We'll have highlights from opening day and find out what NBA rising star set a franchise record.
Do you know that if the playoffs started today?
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Yesterday marked Major League Baseball's opening day and Ichiro's first game back with the Mariners. They welcomed the Cleveland Indians to the Emerald City and honored Nelson Cruz with his Silver Slugger Award from last season before they faced Cleveland's ace Corey Kluber. Cruz began his campaign for another Silver Slugger Award earlier this year, starting in the bottom of the first.
It's 2-0 Mariners. In the first inning, 2-0 Mariners. Here comes D. Gordon, brought back.
Indians cut into the Seattle lead as Yan Gomez hits one in between three Mariners to score the runner from second, but the Mariners would hold on to win 2-1 in Safeco. Moving to the East Coast now, where the New York Yankees open their season on the road against the Toronto Blue Jays. We start in the top of the first with Giancarlo Stanton's first at-bat with the Yankees as he goes yard to right center with a two-run blast. Stanton would go on to knock another one out in the top of the ninth for his second home run and fourth RBI of the game. The Yankees would hold on to win 6-1 as Stanton finished 3 for 4 in his Yankee debut. Moving down to Camden Yards now, as the Baltimore Orioles host the Minnesota Twins. The Twins' Eddie Rosario hits one deep into right field, but Craig Gentry robs him at the wall to keep the game scoreless. Move on to the bottom of the seventh now, as Caleb Joseph lines a triple to right to bring in the game's first run. The Twins tie the game in the ninth, but Adam Jones hits a walk-off shot as the Orioles win 3-2. Back to the West Coast now, with the Los Angeles Dodgers facing off against the San Francisco Giants. Clayton Kershaw faces trouble early with 2 runners on, but he forces Andrew McCutchen to ground into a double play to get out of the jam. Top of the fifth now as the Giants' Joe Panik sneaks one inside the right field foul pole for the game's only run, as the Giants win 1-0 over the Dodgers. Opening day left no shortage of excitement, but there's even more exciting results from the NBA. In fact, a young player set a franchise record. All this coming to you after the break.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Out a win on the road against the Utah Jazz, 97-94. The Celtics won the game despite Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, and Marcus Morris missing time with injuries. The Celtics ended the game on a 9-0 run and sealed the win with a last-second three-pointer from second-year standout Jaylen Brown, who finished with 21 points. This marked Boston's 5th straight win, while the Jazz lost for the 3rd time in 5 games. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Charlotte Hornets 118-105 behind another dominant performance from LeBron James, who finished with 41 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. This marked the 866th straight game that LeBron has scored 10 or more points, tying him with Michael Jordan for the longest such streak in history. Kemba Walker also reached an impressive milestone, becoming the Hornets' all-time leading scorer. With the win, the Cavs go to 7-3 over their last 10 games. The Minnesota Timberwolves came one step closer to breaking their 14-year playoff drought after beating the hapless Atlanta Hawks 126-114. Wolves All-Star Karl Anthony Towns owned the night with a franchise record 56 points, including that slam right there, to go along with 14 rebounds and 4 assists. Mike Muscala helped the Hawks keep pace with a career-high 24 points. Andrew Wiggins finished with 17 points for the Wolves, who currently hold the 7th seed in the Western Conference. The lottery-bound Memphis Grizzlies stunned the playoff-bound Portland Trail Blazers 108-103 in a Wednesday night game. Marshawn Brooks, who signed a 10-day contract with the Grizzlies, made an intriguing case for a contract extension with a career-high 21 points for the Blazers. The Blazers wasted a virtuoso performance from C.J. McCollum, who finished with 42 points and 5 assists. Blazers star Damian Lillard missed the game following the birth of his child. The San Antonio Spurs, still without all-NBA talent Kawhi Leonard, beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 103-99 behind LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge led the Spurs with 25 points and 11 rebounds despite playing with a bruised knee. Paul George helped the Thunder keep it close with 26 points and 6 assists, and Russell Westbrook chipped in with 17 points and 11 rebounds, but missed 2 big three-pointers in crunch time. The teams now have identical records on the season.
With the owners' meeting ending, did the NFL finally change the pass interference rule or figure out what a catch is? We'll have the answers for you after these messages. The NFL's new targeting rule will mimic college football's. The rule will penalize players who lower their head to make contact with a 15-yard penalty and possible ejection. The revised catch rule removes surviving the ground as a requirement to justify a catch. Calvin Johnson, Des Bryant, and Jesse James' controversial catches from the last few years would stand under this new rule. Others include the command center's ability to eject players, the 25-yard touchback made permanent, and no PATs at the end of regulation if unnecessary. So what do you think about the rule changes?
I still don't really know what a catch is, but it's an improvement on what it was before.
I don't think we'll ever know what a catch is in the NFL. In college, it's pretty simple.
It's
get that foot in and you're fine.
Yeah, it's the 8th wonder of the world in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, Dez is, I know that, I had a friend back home that was a big Cowboys fan. He's mad that it's a catch now.
I can imagine, that's rough.
Well, that's it for us on this edition of WSU's Cougar Corner.
We'll be back next Friday with more on Cougar sports around campus.
Have a great night.
And go Cougs!
Yeah, I mean, every time I watch football, I feel like I don't know what a catch is.
Yeah.